Hello people, it's your instructor. Now, in this video, I'm going to introduce what metaphysics is to you. What is metaphysics? Metaphysics come from two words, meta. Meta describes something that is beyond what you can scientifically prove. And physics. Physics is a branch of study, is a field of study that deals with describing the principles of life. Now, Aristotle introduced the concept of telos. Dia percaya yang setiap perkara atau setiap benda yang wujud tu ada tujuannya. So that's the exact meaning of telos, tujuan. So kalau ikut Aristotle, tujuan tu boleh ditakrifkan dari empat perspektif. Number one, material cost. Number two, formal cost. Number three, efficient cost. Number four, final cost. So let's look at one example, the chair. So kalau kita bincang pasal material cost, kita akan bincang pasal sifat-sifat fizikal benda atau perkara tersebut. So in this case, this chair, it is made of plastic for this section, and then for the legs, perhaps it is made by through stainless steel. The second tujuan is formal cost. So when we talk about formal cost, kita akan bincangkan pasal struktur kerusi tersebut. Contohnya, kerusi ni ada 4 kaki, ada satu tempat yang boleh kita duduk. Mungkin ada bahagian belakang supaya kita boleh sandarkan belakang kita. The next one is efficient cost. Efficient cost is where you get it. So let's say for this chair, I bought it from IKEA. So IKEA is that efficient cost for the chair. And finally, the most important of all is final cost, the function of the chair. So why do we need chairs? Chairs are places where we can sit. Now, Aristotle believes that when you combine material costs, formal costs, efficient costs, and final costs, that is what we call reality. Okay, now there is this differentiation though. Kalau kita cerita pasal tujuan kewujudan, the purpose of being, you need to really differentiate between two items. Item number one, the purpose of life, what is meant to be. Now, for every one of us here, it's being a human. And then there's another one is on goals in life. So, what do you want to achieve as a human being? You have to really differentiate these two. Kalau ikut pendekatan metaphysics. Now, for everyone here, I think it's pretty clear. You're in the first year, first semester. You want to hopefully score this at the end of your study, a good CGPA, and then you get a job. And then probably you want to buy a car, a house, get married, have a family. So those are, according to Aristotle, goals. What are the things that you want to achieve? But at the end of the day, this is more important. What is it to be a human? The purpose of life. Alright, Aristotle, dia ceritakan pasal purpose, at the same time, the properties of purpose. So how do you describe, for example, an object, a being? The description can be divided into two items. Number one, essential properties. Number two, accidental property. So the easiest example here is you as a person. So Essential properties describes an item or an object as that particular item or that particular object. So remember or not, pada minggu pertama, saya suruh semua dalam kelas introduce yourself kat dalam muka surat Padlet tu. So a lot of you give me who you are as name, how old are you, datang dari mana, gambar seorang-seorang yang cantik-cantik, handsome-handsome belaka. So these things that you tell me are essential properties. What makes Doria Doria, or what makes Izati Izati, right? Um, Now the other one is accidental properties. Accidental properties refers to properties that is optional. For example, your hair. You can do anything to your hair. You can cut it, you can keep it long, you can color it, you can perm it. I myself tried on multiple hairstyles. At one point of time, it's pretty long until shoulder length. Adalah tu time hipster sikit, rebel sikit, tak nak gunting rambut. Until I station with this particular hairstyle, very short, very easy to manage. If I wake up from the bed looking like this, I still look decent enough. So this is just something optional kalau ikut Aristotle. At the end of the day, what makes me me is my name, sifat-sifat sebagai manusia, and so on and so forth. So that is Aristotle's perception on what is essential property and what is accidental property. Now let's move on to another branch under metaphysics. It's called rationalism. So this rationalist approach is introduced by Leibniz. I'm not so sure if I get the name right though, in terms of pronunciation. So Gottfried Wilhelm von Leibniz, tapi dia lebih dikenali sebagai Leibniz. So this guy is pretty rational. His rationalist approach is this is the best of possible worlds. Artinya, whatever that we have now is the best version of it. So how did this guy came to this conclusion? So this conclusion came because from these 3 points. So Leibniz ni percaya yang apa-apa yang kita ada sekarang ialah environment ataupun keadaan yang paling bagus sekali. Because number one, God created it. God chose to create a world. Number two, there is only one world, and God somehow chooses to create this world. And finally, since God has that power to create a world, of course He would want to create the best world possible. So that is what Leibniz meant by this is the best of possible worlds. So I think you have seen this joke before. A glass, and then the question is the glass half full or half empty? So recently I joked about with a colleague, rather than saying the glass is half full or half empty, technically it's full, because if you follow konsep kimia, a glass kat bawah tu memang ada air, tapi kat atas tu is actually water droplets or air that is floating around. So I'm just going to leave this joke here. You can pause and read it, and then you can move on to the next part lah. I particularly like this one. Because this is essentially what it means when we talk about metaphysics. How do I know that the glass is there? Okay. Okay, now this is the final section for metaphysics related discussion, determinism versus free will. Now, determinism versus free will is introduced by this guy Voltaire and a whole lot of other philosophers. So, rumusan dari konsep ni dipanggil theological determinism. Konsep ni menyatakan bahawa kenapa seseorang manusia tu bertindak. Itu persoalan utama. So, kalau seseorang tu bertindak, adakah dia ikut fitrah dia? Contohnya fitrah sebagai manusia, dia dia suka, dia lapar, dia dahaga, dia rasa panas. So kalau you lapar, then you pergi makan. Kalau you dahaga, you pergi minum. Kalau you letih, you pergi tidur. So that is fitrah. Human nature, or it is determined by external forces. External forces ni artinya your genes, where you stay, what you eat, who you know, your family upbringing. So kat sebelah sini dia ada discussion macam debate sikit lah, between nature versus nurture. And then comes number 3. Everything is on God. God made me do it, or God determines everything in the universe. So whatever that I do is because God has already said I have to do it. Now, number 3 is very dangerous. Sebab yang ni lah yang kita akan salah gunakan, especially kalau dalam kes-kes jenayah. I think you probably have watched stories or documentaries or movies that uses this as a reason to avoid punishment. So mungkin defendant tu dia akan pergi cari ahli psychiatrist. Then the psychiatrist will analyze defendant and bagi tahu yang defendant ni mungkin masa dia membuat sesuatu jenayah tu dia tidak waras. So tidak waras mungkin disebabkan oleh God made me do it. This number 3 is quite dangerous, right? So very different concepts, right? Under metaphysics, pakcik yang bernama Aristotle, dia akan tanya what is your purpose of being. Lepas tu Leibniz, dia akan fikirkan pasal okay, if we have whatever that we have in this world is the best possible forms. Lepas tu Voltaire dia akan tanya pasal okay, you buat sesuatu benda ni atas sebab apa? Fitrah sendiri ke? Ataupun sebab Tuhan? Or something else? So what exactly do we need to believe at the end of the day? Now we have to thank this guy, William Ockham, because William Ockham came up with this particular concept called Occam's razor. Penjelasan paling mudah tentang Occam's razor ini, kalau you nak cari penjelasan tentang suatu perkara, cari yang paling simple. Cari alasan ataupun penjelasan ataupun jawapan yang paling mudah sekali. So, kalau dalam perkataan yang lengkap, when faced with two equally good hypotheses, always choose the simpler one.